Ladies and gentlemen, there's a power in silence that speaks louder than words. When a woman stops talking, stops calling, stops arguing, something shifts. A man who once took your presence for granted suddenly feels your absence like a missing heartbeat. Silence is a powerful statement and boundary. When a woman goes silent, it is never without reason. It is not just the absence of words, but the presence of a decision, an intention, and sometimes even a realization. A woman who once communicated openly, expressed her feelings, and shared her thoughts does not suddenly stop for no reason. That silence carries weight. It is filled with emotions, experiences, and perhaps even exhaustion. For many women, silence is not the first response. It is the last. Before reaching that point, there were conversations, explanations, and attempts to be understood. There were moments when she tried to make things work, when she hoped things would change. But when all those efforts are met with indifference, neglect, or taken for granted, silence becomes the only option left. It is not a retreat. It is a boundary. It is a way of saying, I refuse to keep pouring into something that does not pour into me. A man who understands the value of a woman in his life will recognize the significance of that silence. He will feel it in ways words could never make him understand. He will notice the missing texts, the unanswered calls, the absence of her presence in his daily life. It will force him to reflect on what led to this point. He will ask himself why she stopped engaging, why she no longer argues, why she no longer fights for his attention. For a man who truly cares, that silence will be unsettling. It will create a void that he cannot ignore. He will start to miss the little things, the way she checked on him, the way she showed up for him, the way she made him feel valued and loved. That silence will make him realize that what he once took for granted is no longer guaranteed. And if he values her, he will take action. He will step up, reach out, and make an effort to understand where things went wrong. He will not allow the silence to become permanent because he knows the difference between losing a moment and losing a person. But for a man who never truly valued her, that silence will not matter. He may notice it, but he will not be moved by it. He may wonder for a moment why she stopped talking, but he will not make the effort to change. Instead, he will carry on as if her presence never made a difference. And that in itself is the most painful yet clearest answer a woman could ever receive. When a man does not react to her silence, it confirms what she feared all along, that he was never truly invested. Silence in this case becomes her strength. It becomes the tool that exposes the reality of her relationship. It frees her from the endless cycle of trying to be heard by someone who was never really listening. It shifts the power back into her hands, reminding her that she is not obligated to keep explaining her worth to someone who refuses to see it. For women who have ever found themselves in a position where they feel unseen, unheard, or unappreciated, silence is not just an escape, it is a declaration of self-respect. It is a way of saying, I will no longer waste my energy on someone who does not value it. And the right man, the one who truly sees her, will never be comfortable with that silence. He will move, he will act, and he will make sure she never has to go silent again. A man will either step up or step away when you go silent. When a woman withdraws her energy, stops reaching out, and removes herself from the equation, a man is left with a decision. He no longer has the luxury of her presence, her affection, or her effort. Suddenly, he is faced with a reality where she is no longer available to him in the way she once was. This forces him to confront his own feelings, his level of commitment, and what he is willing to do to either keep her or let her go. For some men, this silence is a wake-up call. They realize how much they have taken her for granted. They feel the emptiness that her absence leaves behind. The texts they used to ignore are no longer coming through. The arguments they once found frustrating are no longer happening. The small daily interactions that seemed insignificant now feel like a major loss. It dawns on them that her silence is not just a temporary mood shift. It is a response to something deeper. It is a sign that she has reached her limit. A man who truly cares will recognize this as his moment to step up. He will not let his pride or ego keep him from doing the right thing. He will not assume she will always be there, waiting for him to change. Instead, he will reflect, take accountability, and put in the effort to show her that she matters to him. He will take action because he understands that love requires effort, and losing her is not something he is willing to accept. On the other hand, there are men who, when faced with silence, choose to do nothing. Instead of stepping up, they step away. They take her silence as permission to move on, as if her absence is a relief rather than a loss. These are the men who were never fully invested in the first place. They may have enjoyed the attention, the companionship, and the benefits of her presence, but they were never willing to put in the work to keep her. When she goes silent, they do not chase, they do not ask questions, and they do not fight for her. And that silence becomes her answer. It is a painful truth, but it is also a necessary one. Because when a man does nothing in response to a woman's silence, he is showing her exactly where she stands in his life. She does not have to beg, plead, or demand his attention. His inaction speaks for itself. And while it may hurt in the moment, it is better to know the truth than to keep investing in someone who is never willing to invest in her. The right man will fill the void and work to fix things. When a woman who once poured love, energy, and effort into a man suddenly pulls back, a man who truly values her will not just notice, he will feel it. He will experience that emptiness in a way that forces him to take action. The absence of her voice, her touch, her presence will create a space that cannot easily be filled. He will realize that the love she gave was not something that could be replaced or replicated. A man who understands the depth of a woman's love knows that silence is not a game. It is not a manipulation tactic or a test. It is a sign that something is wrong. And if he truly cares, he will do everything in his power to fix it. He will reflect on his actions, acknowledge where he went wrong, and take real steps to make things right. He will not let pride or fear hold him back because he knows that losing her is far worse than admitting his mistakes. It is not just about saying the right things, but showing through actions that he is willing to change. He will reach out, he will listen, and he will make sure she feels heard and valued. He will not assume that she will always be there waiting for him to realize her worth. Instead, he will show her through his consistency, his patience, and his willingness to grow that he truly understands what he almost lost. A man who loves a woman will never allow her silence to become the end of their story. He will fight for her because he knows she is worth it. If he doesn't react, he was never truly invested. A man's response to silence tells a woman everything she needs to know. If she stops reaching out, stops calling, stops trying to make things work, and he does nothing, then that is her answer. A man who truly cares will never be comfortable with her absence. He will feel it. He will wonder why the energy she once gave so freely is no longer there. He will ask himself what went wrong, and if he values her, he will try to fix it. But if he lets the silence linger, if he does not make an effort to reach out, it shows that he was never fully invested in the first place. A woman does not go silent without reason. She does not just wake up one day and decide to withdraw. It happens after she is given chances, after she has explained herself, after she has fought for the relationship. When all of that is ignored, she chooses silence not out of anger, but out of understanding that her presence is not appreciated. And when a man does not react to that, it only confirms what she feared all along, that she was the only one trying. Some men assume that silence means she will come back on her own. They take it as a break, not as a warning sign. They think she just needs time and that eventually she will return to the way things were. But a woman's silence is rarely temporary. It is often the beginning of the end. A man who loves her will not risk that. He will not gamble with her presence in his life. He will react because he cannot bear the thought of losing her. But the man who does nothing, he was never truly there to begin with. Never beg for love or attention. Silence reveals true intentions. A woman who has to beg for attention is already losing. Love should not be something that has to be forced. If a woman has to constantly remind a man to show up for her, to be present, to care, then she is not in a relationship. She is in a one-sided battle. A man who truly wants to be with her will not need to be convinced. He will not make her feel like she is asking for too much just because she wants to feel valued. Silence is the strongest way to see where a man's heart truly is. If he notices and makes an effort, then it shows he cares. But if he does not react at all, it means she was never a priority. Some women keep fighting for a man's attention, hoping that one day he will see her worth. They stay even when they feel unseen. They argue, they cry, they try everything to make him realize how much they love him. But love should not have to be proven over and over again to someone who is not even paying attention. A woman's value is not in how much she can tolerate. It is not in how much she can give without receiving. Her worth is not defined by how long she can wait for a man to notice her. If a man truly wants her in his life, he will show her. He will not put her in a position where she has to question his feelings. And if he does not, then silence becomes her answer. Your absence should never feel comfortable to someone who truly values you. When a woman walks away, even if it is in silence, the man who loves her will feel it. He will not just move on as if nothing happened. He will not ignore the shift in energy and continue with his life as if she never mattered. A man who truly values a woman will be unsettled by her absence. It will bother him. It will make him reflect. It will push him to take action. But if a man does not seem to care when she stops calling, when she stops showing up, when she removes herself from his life, then that silence should tell her everything she needs to know. It should show her that she was never as important to him as she thought. It should remind her that love is never silent when it is real. When someone values you, they do not let you slip away without a fight. They do not let your absence become normal. They do not allow silence to replace the love that once existed. If a man does not react to her absence, then she was never truly present in his heart to begin with. Silence is a powerful statement and boundary. When a woman stops speaking, stops calling, stops explaining, it is not out of pettiness or manipulation. It is because she has realized that her words are no longer being heard, that her presence is being taken for granted, and that her efforts are being wasted. Silence is not an act of weakness. It is a decision. It is her way of protecting herself from further emotional exhaustion. It is a sign that she has reached a place where she no longer feels the need to fight for something that is not fighting for her. A woman's silence is often misunderstood. Some men see it as an invitation to push her further, to test how much she can take before she breaks. Others believe that her silence is temporary, that she is simply upset and will eventually return to the way things were. But the truth is, silence is not a pause, it is often an ending. It is her way of saying, I have given everything I could, and now I choose myself. A man who understands this will not let her silence linger. He will not assume that she will always be there, waiting for him to notice her absence. Instead, he will recognize that silence is a warning, a signal that something has shifted, and he will take it seriously. A man will either step up or step away when you go silent. When a woman who once gave everything suddenly pulls back, a man is forced to make a choice. He can either acknowledge what is happening, take responsibility for his actions, and make a real effort to show her that he values her, or he can let her go without a fight. And the choice he makes reveals everything about how he truly feels. If he cares, if he truly loves her, he will not allow silence to be the last word. He will not let pride or stubbornness stand in the way of reaching out, apologizing, and doing what it takes to make things right. But if he does nothing, if he allows the silence to stretch on without a response, then he is making it clear that he was never really invested. A man who loves a woman does not watch her walk away without a second thought. He does not assume that she will always be there waiting for him to realize her worth. He understands that love requires effort, that relationships take work, and that if he wants to keep her in his life, he has to show up for her. Silence forces a man to reveal his true intentions, and his actions in that moment say more than any words ever could. The right man will fill the void and work to fix things. When a woman who once poured so much love, energy, and time into a relationship suddenly goes quiet, the man who truly cares will not be able to ignore it. He will feel the shift. He will notice the emptiness where her affection used to be. He will miss the way she checked on him, the way she made an effort to be there for him, the way she loved him unconditionally. And that void will make him realize just how much he took her for granted. A man who genuinely values a woman will not allow that void to remain. He will not sit back and hope that she comes back on her own. He will take responsibility for his part in the situation and make a real effort to fix things. He will show her through his actions that he understands what he almost lost. And he will not just do it for the moment. He will continue to put in the effort, knowing that love is something that must be nurtured and protected. If he doesn't react, he was never truly invested. When a woman removes herself from a man's life, his response is the clearest indicator of how much she really meant to him. A man who truly cares will not let silence become the final answer. He will not be comfortable in her absence. He will not move on as if nothing happened. He will feel her loss deeply, and he will do what it takes to bring her back. But if he does not react at all, if he does not call, does not check in, does not make any effort to understand why she went silent, then he is showing her that she was never truly a priority. Some men assume that a woman will always come back, that she will eventually break her own silence because she misses them. But a woman who has reached a point of silence is not playing a game. She is making a choice. And if a man does not respond to that choice, he has made his own decision as well. Never beg for love or attention. Silence reveals true intentions. A woman should never have to fight for a man's attention. She should never have to beg to be seen, to be valued, to be heard. Love should not feel like a battle for someone's time and affection. When a woman goes silent, she is not looking for a reaction. She is looking for clarity. And in that silence, a man's true feelings become clear. If he loves her, he will not let her slip away without a fight. But if he does nothing, then she knows she was never truly loved at all. Silence is a powerful statement and boundary. It is not given lightly, nor is it a mere reaction to frustration. When a woman who once spoke, explained, and tried to make things work suddenly goes silent, it is not out of immaturity or manipulation. It is a realization, it is her understanding that her words are falling on deaf ears, that her presence is being taken for granted, and that her efforts are going unnoticed. She does not go silent because she has nothing to say. She goes silent because she has said enough. Silence is often misunderstood, especially by men who assume that as long as there is no confrontation, everything is fine. But silence is not peace, it is distant. It is a shift in energy that signals something is wrong. A woman who stops talking, who stops engaging, is creating a boundary. She is no longer giving access to her thoughts, her emotions, or her love. It is a form of self-protection, a way of preserving her dignity. When words have failed to create change, a man who understands the value of a woman in his life will recognize the weight of that silence and take it seriously. A man will either step up or step away when you go silent. When a woman who once gave her all pulls back, the ball is in the man's court. He has a choice to either acknowledge what is happening and make an effort to fix things, or to do nothing and let her slip away. And in that moment, his true intentions are revealed. If he truly cares, he will not let pride, ego, or stubbornness keep him from reaching out. He will not allow silence to be the last word. Instead, he will reflect on his actions, recognize where he went wrong, and take accountability. He will step up, not just with words, but with consistent effort. But if a man does nothing in response to a woman's silence, he is making it clear that she was never a priority to him. A man who is indifferent to her absence, who does not notice or does not care enough to change, is showing her exactly where she stands in his life. And while it may hurt in the moment, that silence becomes a blessing. It frees her from the illusion that he ever truly cared. It spares her from wasting any more time on someone who is not willing to invest in her the way she invested in him. The right man will feel the void and work to fix things. A woman's presence is felt in ways that go beyond words. She gives love, support, encouragement, and energy to the man she cares about. She makes an effort to understand him, to be there for him, to uplift him. And when that presence is suddenly gone, a man who values her will feel that void. He will notice the absence of her good morning texts, the way she used to ask about his day, the little things she did to show she cared. And if he truly loves her, he will not let that void remain. A man who wants to keep a woman in his life will not let silence turn into distance. He will take action. He will ask himself what went wrong and make an effort to fix it. He will not just offer empty apologies, but will show through his actions that he understands what he almost lost. Love requires effort, and a man who truly values a woman will not allow her silence to become permanent. If he doesn't react, he was never truly invested. A man's response to silence is one of the clearest indicators of how much he truly cares. If he does nothing, if he lets the days and weeks go by without reaching out, it means she was never that important to him. A man who loves a woman cannot simply move on as if she never existed. He will feel her absence deeply and will do whatever it takes to bring her back. But if he does not respond at all, then she has her answer. Some men assume that a woman will always come back, that she will break her own silence because she misses them. But a woman who has reached the point of silence is not playing games. She is making a choice. And if a man does not react to that choice, it means he has made his own decision as well. Never beg for love or attention. Silence reveals true intentions. Love should never feel like a battle for someone's time and affection. A woman should not have to beg to be seen, heard, or valued. If she constantly has to fight for attention, then she is not in a relationship. She is in a one-sided struggle. And silence is the best way to see where a man's heart truly is. If a man truly cares, he will not let her slip away without a fight. He will not allow silence to replace love. He will not assume that she will always be there, waiting for him to notice her worth. But if he does nothing, if he allows the silence to stretch on without a response, then she has all the clarity she needs. The man who truly loves her will never be comfortable with her absence, and the man who does not react was never truly hers to begin with. Silence is a powerful statement and a woman's final form of communication when words have lost their impact. It is not an impulsive reaction or an emotional game. It is a decision. A woman does not go silent for no reason. She does not wake up one day and suddenly withdraw her energy, her love, or her attention. It happens gradually after she has repeated herself, after she has expressed her needs, after she has waited for change that never came. Silence is her last resort. Her way of saying, I am done explaining, I am done waiting, I am done fighting alone. And when a woman reaches that point, her silence is more powerful than any word she could ever say. A man will either step up or step away when you go silent. When a woman who once poured so much effort into a relationship stops reaching out, stops asking questions, stops trying to fix things, a man is faced with a choice. If he truly values her, he will not ignore the shift. He will recognize that her silence is not just about being upset. It is about feeling unappreciated, unheard, and exhausted from carrying the emotional weight of the relationship alone. A man who truly loves her will not wait for silence to turn into distance. He will step up, take accountability, and make an effort to fix what has been broken. He will not allow her to walk away without showing her that she matters. But if he does nothing, if he allows the silence to remain, then he is making his choice just as clearly as she is making hers. A man who does not react to a woman's absence is telling her that her presence never truly mattered to him. And while that truth may be painful, it is necessary. It frees her from the illusion that he cared more than he actually did. It shows her that she was fighting for something that was never going to change. And in that moment, she realizes that silence was not just her last option, it was her best one. The right man will fill the void and work to fix things. A woman's love is not something that can be easily replaced. When she cares, she does so deeply. She invests in the relationship, supports her partner, and makes an effort to be present. And when that presence is suddenly gone, a man who truly values her will feel the difference. He will notice the absence of her love, the energy she used to bring, the warmth she provided. It will hit him in ways he did not expect. And if he truly loves her, he will not let that emptiness remain. He will reach out not just with words, but with actions that prove he understands what he almost lost. If he does not